Hey, welcome to video number 194 of Walker This Way with Hazel Walker, the queen of all things
BNI and networking.
I am Mark Simmons. Man, we're getting close to 200.
Yeah. When 4 more?
We have 6 more to go. 6 more to go.
94. Okay.
Yeah. But I had a memory come up of number 48 or something just this past week. Boy, in my youth, number 48.
When we were young doing this.
Yeah. So Hazel,
Yeah.
I want you to think of a song. Everybody listening, think of the Beatles song. Get into your head. It's gonna be the earworm. Come Together. You know the song Come Together? Come together right now over me. But we're gonna replace the words over me with LT. Come together right now. LT.
Yeah.
Boom, leadership team. Come together right now, leadership team.
This is true because, people think it all starts at leadership team training, but really the two leadership teams should be meeting now.
Yeah.
And the month of September, coming together, right? The outgoing and the incoming, because this is when they can plan together, right? They can do, one of the things I say to them and I encourage is that they do a SWOT analysis with the outgoing team and the incoming team. What's our strengths? What are the strengths that we have in this chapter? And what are the opportunities? Like some have strengths and they got strong leadership teams or whatever. They can decide what their strengths are and what their opportunities are. What are the opportunities? The opportunity to grow, the opportunity for this or that. What's our weaknesses? So weaknesses really comes after strengths. Strength, weakness, opportunity, and threats, right? SWOT. So that's a really great thing for the chapters to work on together. And then set the goals now with the help of the outgoing team and the incoming team. It just makes far more sense and it creates cohesiveness with the chapter, right?
Right.
We get that you want to do some all new things, but you need to work with the outgoing team because the outgoing team has had some issues and struggles that they've had to deal with. And you need to know what they are. Right. And they've had some wins and some victories, or they have some projects that they've gotten halfway down the road that the next team needs to pick up the ball and go the rest of the way, which is what we tell them to do with visitor events.
Right.
Outgoing team gets it started, incoming team wraps it up. Right. So, yeah, working together as a team, they just forget. They have a tendency to go to training and then just take over.
Yeah, it's change management. We're going to change it all day 2.
Oh, and then they want to change everything all at once.
Right.
Right. So the new team comes in, not being familiar with what the outgoing team has done, and then they just go in and reset everything.
Yeah.
And so progress maybe was being made, and now it's going to stop because you weren't aware of what was going on. It's like the president of the United States does that same thing where they've got that time. That transition, right? The presidential transition, where the two presidents meet together and talk about here's what we've accomplished and here's some of the goals that we had, so that they can transfer power.
Yeah, some of the things we discussed to our outgoing incoming team was number 1, the shadowing thing, which we know doesn't happen. But September is if your teams transition October 1st, September is good shadow month. So have all the roles shadow each other. Outgoing, incoming, come to the chapter success meeting, the incoming and the outgoing. Remember, confidentiality is still there, and honor the confidentiality. And important for like membership committees to not pass on their mess as well. Like if there's a conflict they're dealing with, don't hold it for the next team to take over. Clean it up. Yeah,
wrap it all up. Make sure it's all complete. And I've got this week, I have 2 visitor days on the same day. I've got one in the morning and one in the afternoon, right? Bring the incoming leaders, incoming membership committee in while you're doing those interviews. If you're doing a visitor day between now and October 1, you want to make sure the incoming team is part of the interview process so that they can, in the event that you don't get it done before October the 1st, they can continue the process.
Yeah.
Right? So they're informed, they know what's going on, and you're not trying to ramrod people through just to get it done, but you're actually can hand that over to the new team because they've been involved in it since the very beginning. Yeah. So that's what I'm telling both of these groups that I'm working with Thursday is be sure to bring the new team into your interview process.
Yeah. And you brought up a point earlier when you and I were talking before this is the topic of legacy for, there's still opportunity for the current teams to leave a legacy. What does that look like?
Yep.
And the incoming teams is think about what is the legacy you want to leave a year from now.
Yeah, and or how can we continue to build on the legacy that's been left?
Right.
How can we continue to move that forward? If there's a really great legacy or a great plan going on, how do we move that forward versus stop? We're going to do something all new.
Yeah.
And I think that's the most important thing is creating that continuity across into the new team. Yes, you can still do new things. You can still say, okay, our weaknesses is attendance. Our people aren't showing up and they're coming late. All right, how are we going to work on that? But I caution you, do not try to change everything and fix everything at one time. Pick two, educate it, implement it.
And nail it.
Right? So do you have a substitute guideline for your chapter? If not, educate it, put it in writing, implement it. Do you have a late guideline for your chapter? Do you have a budget set for your chapter? Has your chapter ever even had a budget? And if not, why not? It is a business organization. How are you going to manage that? And you got to make sure that those books have been balanced prior to, especially in Vancouver, especially in British Columbia, because the chapters there have bigger budgets, and those budgets need to be, and we have run across chapters that have lost money on this.
Yes.
Because they didn't balance that budget before they took those books.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
All that has to be done in the month of September.
Yeah. And just, it's come up before where a chapter has not kind of paid attention to what it is they're putting out every week for their chapter dues. And after a year, they were out $5,000 or so. And who had to come up with the money? The members.
The members, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of like our federal government here in the United States. They spend all the money and we got to come up with more for them.
Right.
It's a constant thing, right? That's not okay in the chapters. You need to balance, and that Secretary Treasurer should be reporting that every single month. And it should be available for every member to see the budget.
Yep.
All the time.
Transparency is big.
Yeah, it really is important.
Yeah.
So that's another big piece that has to happen is checking accounts and everything need to be re-signed over. The two people on the account, all of that needs to be audited and passed over. Yeah. And you need to get that done pretty quick.
Right. So opportunity. This opportunity is not here in October. It's not December. It's not in the middle of next year. It's now. And then it disappears. And we really want to encourage the outgoing and the incoming leadership teams to take advantage of what you have right now, this opportunity, come together and share the information and learn about the roles so that there is that, as you say, Hazel, the continuity and smooth transition from one team to another.
Right. And to really create a vision for where you're going. See, it's the opportunity to really shift if your chapter is struggling, this is a great opportunity to make that shift.
Yeah.
That right by setting all of this up with your outgoing team right now.
Yeah. All right. And if your chapters have to, or your regions transition, I think it's April, it's the same thing, just change months, do the same thing. But the key point is that continuity is going to save everything, because the worst thing for an incoming leadership team is the deer in the headlight.
Yeah. What do we do now? What has happened?
Yeah. What do we just inherit? I don't know.
Especially since we have such confidentiality with our membership committees, right?
Yeah.
So they're sitting out there, they don't know what's been going on. Now they need to be brought into the fold and told, here's all the things that we've been working on.
Yeah, because here's a perspective I guess we can leave you with, is the duck perspective, where the duck, when you see a duck in water, it looks like it's really just going along nicely, quack, 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 but its little legs are going a mile a minute, right?
As
So the
smooth
chapter
water.
just sees the smooth water, but there's a lot going on underneath. And that's what the incoming teams need to learn about before they step into the role.
Right. Otherwise, that water is going to get pretty churned up.
It will. All right. I think we've used probably all the analogies we can. So it's a good time to leave everybody here. Till next time, Hazel Walker.
See you then.
Bye.
Bye.